Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. We'll get started in just a few minutes here. All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today at our DTEN webinar. My name is Eileen Tonger. I'm going to be your host for today. I'm the Director of Partner Marketing here at DTEN. And we're excited to have you here. Today, we'll be talking about DTEN solutions for hybrid workspaces. And I'm joined today with three of my colleagues, David Silverstein, the Channel Account Manager for the East, Greg Naik, who's our account executive for New England and upstate New York, and Chris Sesko, an account executive for education in the East. And we're very excited to be talking to you today. Just a couple of housekeeping things. We have disabled chat. So if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the Q&A function, and we'll save some time at the end for questions. So today's agenda, we'll be covering the state of hybrid work. We'll talk about some of our innovations for hybrid work. We'll introduce some of our DTEN solutions. We'll talk a little bit about what's coming next. And we'll wrap it up with some takeaways. And we have a raffle for a Me Pro at the end and close it out. Excuse me. So we're going to be talking a lot today about technology that's evolving and adapting to better suit our needs. So please keep in mind some of the things that you'll see today may look or feel a little different when they're actually on the wall of your next meeting. Just wanted to put this out there. So legal says we have to show this slide at the top of the deck. So thank you for that. So before we jump into the meat of the webinar, I'd like to talk a little bit about DTEN's relationship with Zoom. DTEN and Zoom have co-developed and co-engineered award-winning video-first collaboration solutions for the past 5 years, since 2017, starting with the DTEN D5, which some of you may remember. And since then, we've only further honed our commitment to leading the industry with easy to use, simple to set up collaboration solutions that just work. And to frame up the webinar, we're going to take a look at the state of hybrid work today. So at DTEN, we've been keeping a close eye on where hybrid work is headed. There's some figures recently published by Gallup, Gartner, and Remote Pass. We're seeing this is just a tiny snapshot of some of the data that we're seeing. It's pretty clear that flexible workspaces enable hybrid work. It's the way of the future, whether employees are coming in full-time, part-time, or only a few hours every week. And it includes supporting remote employees too. So we'd like to hear from you. We do have a poll question, and so we're curious what percentage of your teams are back in the office. So I'm going to launch poll question number 1, and we'll give it just a minute here. But curious to see how many people in your office, your companies have returned back to the office, if at all. So we'll just give it about 30 more seconds. I see a lot of people are submitting their answers. We appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and give you another second here. We're going to close out the poll, and then we'll share some of the results. So it looks like about the majority is around 25 to 50% of teams are back in the office. So it's interesting to see. I'm remote, but I do enjoy going into an office for a change of pace. So that there might be some people that are like-minded where you prefer remote work, but you like the option of having another space to go to. Great. So with that, excuse me, I'm going to share a quote here from one of our customers, but all the solutions we talked about today will help promote engagement, inclusion, and participation. So Box, a DTEN customer, embraced this early on in the pandemic. They realized the need to put people first and realize it's still critical today. As a consequence, they executed a multi-pronged approach to build their hybrid work model. They focused on people first, they reimagined some of their workspaces, and they realized they needed a technology partner to bridge the needs to bring employees together. So designing for equity has become a business imperative. The minute the remote employees interacted one-on-one with collaboration technology, the paradigm shift. So they realized it was important to make some changes quickly. And when we talk about collaboration equity, our approach to developing solution centers hinges on this concept. We've defined it as a concept of the culture of inclusion and fairness, where every team member has equal ability to participate and contribute. This is where deploying the right technology comes into play, because to foster a culture of collaboration equity, giving everyone an equal opportunity to contribute, regardless of where they're located or their technological acumen, it can really benefit from easy to use technology that elicits interaction. So let's take a minute and look at the hybrid office. We're going to do a deep dive into a number of use cases in a few minutes, anywhere from hot desks, huddle spaces, and in-office phone booths, from shared meeting spaces and common areas in executive offices. You can deploy consistent, intuitive workspaces that foster productivity, interconnectedness, and inclusivity. So we have one more poll for you. We are curious what issues you're facing in your work environment. So I'll launch poll question number 2. And it's multiple choice. So you can, if there's more than one thing that you're seeing, but curious as to what issues you're facing today. And I see some people are responding. Thank you for your input. And we'll give it about 5 more seconds. We've got a lot of responses so far. Thank you. Okay, go ahead and end the poll and close it out. Thank you for the feedback. So we're seeing a mix of results. So whether that's providing workstations for hybrid employees, encouraging people to even come back to the office, providing employee well-being and safety, or could be platform conflicts. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, but I see primarily in just encouraging people to get back to the office. And having the right solutions can encourage folks to come back and with easy to use solutions, they can be productive. So at this point, I think we're going to transition it over to Dave Silberstein. He's going to talk through the portfolio of DTEN solutions for the hybrid office. Hey, Dave. Looks like you're muted.
Sorry about that. I had a cough for a second. So hi, everybody. I'm DTEN Dave, and I'm going to take us through the product line. As you can see from the complete solution list here, of course, we have our flagship D7 product line. We're now adding the D7X to that family to make an even broader scope of products and solutions available for you. We'll get into all that. We have the D10 on for small rooms, huddle rooms, those kind of things. And then, of course, we have the Me family that allows us for desktops as well as workplace locations, and we'll talk about those in a little bit. And of course, we have the Mate, which is our Zoom room controller and scheduler, and it now comes in both a Wi-Fi wireless version or a hardwired PoE version, depending on your application. All right, so our D7, our flagship product that we've had for several years now, most people are probably well aware of it. We have rebranded it, renamed it D7 for Zoom to make sure that everybody understands that it is a complete Zoom room appliance. Plug it in, give it network, put it on the wall, and away on a cart, however you want to do it, and away it goes. Boots straight into Zoom rooms, and it's ready to go. 4K camera, 16 microphone array, full whiteboarding, annotation, which means from a user's point of view, if you put in an interactive whiteboard solution like a D7 for Zoom, your customers, your employees can not only meet, but they can also collaborate and annotate and ideate to really make sure that their ideas are shared and their concepts come across. So the idea of having interactive touch available in those rooms becomes very, very important for the people using the rooms to be able to get their job done appropriately. All right, so if we go from the room, now we're going to go to home with the D10 Me Pro. This is our 27-inch screen. So this is an all-in-one solution. Again, camera, microphone, speakers, everything. We do have a USB and HDMI port appropriately. So you can not only use it as your secondary monitor on your desktop, but the camera, microphone, speaker, and touch become available to your laptop using what we call Smart Connect, or giving it that BYOD concept, so that if you did need to launch a call in another environment, you could do that off your laptop and still get the camera quality and the microphone quality of the D10 Me Pro. But let's not think of the D10 Me Pro as just the home office solution, because we're also seeing it used in huddle spaces and collaboration spaces. As a matter of fact, if you look closely, there are actually 3 cameras on the top of this unit. 2 of those cameras shoot sideways. So if you have a small 3-person huddle space and people are sitting on either side, that 160-degree view will get all 3 or 4 people around the screen at the same time. And amazingly enough, as we do that, we'll use something called, sorry, I lost my mind. Inclusive view. And inclusive view will actually frame all those 3 or 4 people and put them into one call so you can see everybody's face clearly and appropriately.
Hey, Dave, I would also interject from a field perspective. We're seeing great success putting them into the CEOs or the C-suites as a small little device for the huddle table, creating consistency for that C user. So it's easy to deploy, easy to engage, but it's consistent with their other rooms. So we're seeing great success in those applications.
Excellent. Thanks, Greg. And the other application is people that are doing hot desking or workplace reservations. You can use the D10 Me Pro as your desk location so people can go and sit at that desk. And when you do that, when they go and sign in, it becomes their Zoom room account. It becomes their Zoom phone account. So everything they need to be their setup is right there for them. In addition to that, we see the D10 Me Pro, Me's and Me Pros being used as virtual receptionists in a kiosk mode. So you can have up to 6 buttons on the screen. Somebody can walk in, the buttons will be appropriately, you can name them whatever you want, maybe call receptionist, I have a delivery, et cetera, et cetera. It will actually launch a Zoom call and call to whoever the assigned person is. You can have people to queue and rotate through appropriately. So you could have a receptionist working from home. You could have a receptionist working 6 or 7 desks at the same time in different lobbies. So we see a lot of this in lobbies these days. We're also seeing a lot of this, virtual receptionists in department lobbies. So the IT department usually has a desk that you walk into. They're now putting a virtual receptionist there, so somebody doesn't have to sit out at that desk, or the pharmacy department or whatever it is. So even in a large office space, in a large office where different departments have entranceways. We're starting to see people put virtual receptionists there as well to be able to call the people in the background.
And Dave, I would also add that we're seeing large deployments into the court systems and correctional facilities used in the court systems for depositions or dealing with getting in contact with a user and the judge quickly and easily, and also in the correctional facilities so they can call and have engagement with the outside world.
Yep. And while using it as a virtual receptionist, it can also do wayfinding. So people who forgot what desk they reserved, they can go in and see the desk that they reserved, or if they forgot to reserve a desk for the day, they could reserve a desk right from there.
And you can put custom maps in there too, which allows floor plans and things of that nature.
And Dave, just before we move on, a quick question came in from the audience. Can you whiteboard with the DTEN?
Yes, DTEN supports full whiteboarding. I probably do it every day on some kind of call. I just kick it into whiteboard mode and make a note because it's right there in front of me as my secondary monitor.
Great, thank you. And another question, just really quick, the stands are urban stands on the Me Pro, and we can pop the link in the chat. Great.
Okay, so now we're to the part where most people actually came for, and that is the introduction of the D7X. So as we know, the D7s have been very popular, doing a great job, and now we're moving to the next generation D7X family to be able to support them.
Great, and we have a short video that I'm going to play, so just one moment.
The DTEN D7X transforms any meeting room into a modern video collaboration workspace. D7X combines the newest innovations in video, audio, and touch collaboration technology into a powerful all-in-one solution for today's hybrid work environment. Connect to virtually any video meeting with the D7X's multi-platform design. Simply connect your laptop to a single charging cable to access the D7X's audio, video, and touch technologies from your platform of choice. Or start a meeting with one touch using the D7X's native Zoom capabilities. And for larger meeting spaces, the D7X is ready to pair with companion whiteboards, meeting controllers, additional cameras, and other peripherals. D7X combines enhanced AI with deep learning to deliver next-generation video meetings. The super wide-angle camera with 129-degree field of view captures everyone in the room with 20% better video clarity. And smart framing technology keeps everybody perfectly in frame. Sophisticated D10 audio AI works behind the scenes to reduce distractions and deliver with rich, room-filling sound, with speakers that are 4 times more powerful. The D7X works at the speed of your ideas. With award-winning touchscreen technology, enjoy 30% better touch precision, which provides smooth, natural writing for whiteboarding, annotation, and brainstorming sessions. And the D7X's touchback feature allows you to stay at the board for an uninterrupted workflow. Simply tap the screen for content control. Propel your meeting room into the future. Move forward with D7X. The D10 D7X.
All right, so I do have to say, one of the nicest features and something that I think a lot of people have been asking for a long time is if I just walk in and plug in my laptop, I can touch the screen and control the content that's on my laptop. I can do it with a Mac, I can do it with a PC. So even a Mac that doesn't have a touch, obviously Macs don't have touch screens on them, I can plug in a Mac without a touch screen, but from the D7X, I can touch the screen and control that Macintosh's applications, content. And I know from my experience, a lot of people have been asking that for years and years and years. Why can't I just touch what's up there and control it? We can now do that with what we call the touchback feature. It also gives us a BYOD presence, or Smart Connect, as we like to call it. So if you do want to bring in your laptop and start a call from your laptop, you get access to the cameras, the microphones, the speakers, and of course the touch that's available there appropriately. Lots of other sophisticated components. Of course, we're going to have Smart Gallery available, where we can pick out people's faces and put them into multiple streams. All those kind of features are going to be in there as well. A little different than the previous generations. D7X, you're simply going to decide if you want a 55 or a 75, and then you'll decide if you want a Windows or an Android version appropriately, and that's the model that you'll purchase. So everything will be the same across the platform. There won't be differences between what an Android does and what a Windows does. Everything's going to be consistent. So it'll just be about the operating system that's best for that particular network application.
And Dave, I would also add that, we've had third-party guests join for quite some time through the Zoom and with Teams remote join. But with the BYOD, what people have been expressing is the ability to launch the platform of choice off their desktop and still have the full feature set of that platform. Whereas if you're launching with third-party in any platform, you're restricted to the WebRTC. So they are enjoying that full feature set of the platform with the BYOD.
Yeah, Greg, you're absolutely right. And let me slow that down for the people that don't understand WebRTC or even want to hear those kind of words. We do have to remember within the Zoom environment, when you are invited to a Zoom meeting, a Microsoft Teams meeting, a Google Meet, or even a WebEx meeting, that meeting will appear on the room's calendar. There will be a start or join button, just like there is for any other meeting. And you will hit that button with a one-touch join, and you will be brought into that meeting. The way you enter that meeting when it is a Teams meeting or a Google meeting is we use something called direct guest join. So we're actually using the controls from that particular platform. So if you join a Teams meeting, for example, the buttons will be red and purple because those are the Teams tools. Where if you join a WebEx call, we join that via a SIP connection. So the tools will still look like Zoom's tools, just the audio and video will be running on what's called a SIP connection. So D10s, even D7s, as well as D7Xs and Me's can all join any one of those platforms to get audio and video back and forth. But if you want some of the more sophisticated controls and feature sets, then if you join by BYOD, your laptop will have a full client to get you everything you need. Okay, now we're to the what's next part. So I can say most people probably haven't even seen this yet. So even Andy doesn't even know that this is coming out. So here we are, we're now showing the D7X Pro. And the D7X Pro actually has 5 cameras on it. So now not only do we have our 129-degree camera in the center, but we've added 4 additional cameras, 2 on each side. And those side cameras are designed to shoot down the tabletop and pick up the people on the table directly into their face. So now we're going to have eye-to-eye contact as opposed to everybody looking up. And when we go to that smart gallery concept and we cut people out and put them into the call as individual frames, you can actually see their face much clearer and much precise because they're looking right into the lens. And of course, as Zoom comes out with their intelligent director will be able to take advantage of these 5 cameras that are out there on the side. In addition to the 5 cameras on the side, the D7X Pro will support not only a single display, it'll support dual displays, like all the D7Xs will now support dual displays, or the D7X Pro will support 3 displays. So if you wanted to do people on one screen, content on one screen, and whiteboarding on one screen, you can do all 3 with the D7X Pro. So it'll be 3-screen design. In addition to all that, these cameras will be available, both the 4-camera kit or a 2-camera kit, so 1 camera on each side, and you'll be able to add those to the D7Xs, any model that you want, or you could even add them to a D7 if you wanted to have different cameras and switch between them. All right, that brings us to the new D7X Dual. And my the D7X Dual is now a dual screen display. And I do want to take a minute and emphasize dual screen displays. Dual screen displays are very, very, very important because now you can show content and remote people at the same time. So if you really want to have a true interactive session, a place where people are collaborating with each other, you really have to be able to see the people on the other side. And if you're using a whiteboard or putting up a spreadsheet of some kind, as we all know, all the people get shrunk into the corner. There might be 20 people on a call. You only see 5 of them, all those kind of tortures. With a dual screen display, you can have up to 49 people on one screen and your content on the other screen. So dual screen concepts become very powerful in small and medium rooms as well as large rooms, because even in a small space, it allows you to truly collaborate. You can have your whiteboard and you can have your people right next to each other. But in this particular case, the D7X Dual, as it's called, we have a very unique design where we have placed the camera in the center between the two screens. So now I get a great eye level camera shot. So everybody around the board, I'm going to see at eye level. So we're going to get a beautiful camera shot. We've also built high-powered speakers into there. So you get front-firing speakers to add additional sound to the space. There's an 8 microphone array to pick up everybody in the room very clearly. So now I've got a perfect solution. It even comes with, believe it or not, a template which you can level and place on the wall, mark where all your mounts go, and then simply mount the camera bar, mount the 2 monitors, and slide them together so they'll be perfectly aligned and in place to get that nice streamlined look that you've got there. One of the other features that's very new that we're bringing out with the Dual this will be the first time we'll actually have a physical shutter on our camera. So if you start a Zoom call, the camera shutter will open so you can see the camera. And then when the Zoom call ends, the shutter will close and you'll physically see that the camera is blocked so that people in the room don't have to worry about somebody grabbing that camera and looking into the room or any of those kind of things. So there'll be a physical shutter there. There'll also be Smart Connect, so we can do BYOD and you can use it with a laptop and other applications appropriate.
Dave, if I can just interject here. So in my experience in working with education, in particular higher education, the Dual with the center camera is really an important feature. Again, to be able to have more, as we talked about, immersive collaboration experiences with the sound and the camera. The classrooms now have a much better experience because everyone can hear better. So I see a lot of requests for the Dual. So it's definitely, if you're in the education space, the Dual is a great solution for you.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, so for those of you that are partners or channel partners, as we like to call you, don't forget that there are plenty of resources, not unlike this PowerPoint presentation, available within the dealer portal. That's DTEN.allbound.com. You can find all those things available for you. There are playbooks and other types of tools, so you can present this information to your customers so they can be aware of everything that's coming and is available within the DTEN line. And of course, we have a partner webinar coming up in January, so I'll be looking for that email to the next webinar in January. All right, so if you haven't already figured it out, this is the East call. So I have the East team on the call, or the guys that were available today on the call. So I, D10 Dave, handle dealer or channel sales for the eastern third of the country. You can see I have the lime green space. Scott covers the mid-Atlantic territory. Warren covers the Southeast. Greg covers the Northeast. He's on the call with us today. And Chris covers specifically education and he actually does the whole eastern half of the country. So he's got more than just us. The other guys on the other side, as you can see the names there, cover West and Central appropriately. If you're in the West, you have a customer in the West or Central, whatever the issue is, reach out to me. I'll be happy to do an introduction and get you to the appropriate person so that everybody's here to help you do whatever it is you need.
Hey, Dave, I would also like to add that we do have a program because I am a type of person that likes to kick the tires and make sure the products work well. So we do offer the try and buy 60-day evaluation. And in my region, if you initiate that, I will come out and unbox and we'll deploy and we'll go through the training and also allow you that 60 days to let your users immerse themselves into the technology before there's any financial commitment. And I strongly recommend that. Just because we want to make sure that we put the right solution and the right application for your users. So please take advantage of that. Reach out to me if you feel that would be a suited solution to have your users experience.
So Greg, let me just get this straight. Did you say if I'm a dealer integrator, I can call you and say, my customer over here wants a 60-day trial? You'll go take them the 60-day trial. You'll go set it up for them. You'll let them try it for 60 days. And if they like it, they buy it from me. And if they don't like it, you take it back and it doesn't hurt me at all?
That's correct. Yes. It's really, again, DTEN really wants to make sure that we put a solution that's going to last and be future-proofed and your users are going to immerse themselves in it. So absolutely, I would rather do that than have to deal with the fallout of putting the wrong solution in for the wrong use case.
Boy, I would definitely, if I was a dealer integrator, I would definitely take advantage of that. And although a couple other people aren't on the call today, I will say Scott and Warren do the same thing appropriately in their territories. And Chris will take care of our education people that way as well.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Greg. Just to kind of wrap up, so some of the key takeaways from today, excuse me, hybrid workplaces are continuing to grow, right? We need to deploy the right technology that promotes collaboration equity. DTEN has solutions for every environment, and we have additional resources available for both our channel partners and our end user customers if they have any additional needs. And then the last call out, we do have inventory in stock. So DTEN has been in a fairly good inventory position in the last several months. So we do have inventory available.
Yep. So just to expand on that, because we do have inventory available, D7s, obviously, as everybody probably knew, have been readily available. For the D7X Windows 55-inch are available and ready to order and ship, no problem at all. D7X 75-inch for Windows are arriving next week, and they'll be available. And then after that, we'll start seeing the Android versions, 55s first and then 75s. And that'll round out the line. D7 and then the D7X Dual. We have a small number coming in later this month, and we'll have full supplies later in the January, February time.
Thank you. And then just before we get to all the Q&A and kind of the wrap up, thank you all for staying to the end of the webinar. We are giving away a D10 Me Pro. And so we're going to do a random drawing here. So congratulations to Kathy Stanley. Thanks for being on our webinar. We will follow up with you post this event for details. So congratulations and thanks for staying on. And this slide here, this is QR code. This will link you to the try and buy page that Greg had referenced. So you can scan the QR code. If you don't have your phone available, if it's not scanning, we are going to send a follow-up email. So we will have all the details on that in the email as well. So we do have a few questions just before we close out. So I will address this to our speakers here. First question, have we done any testing with the D10 connected to MiFi Wi-Fi with Zoom? This person has a location where they don't have corporate network and cannot, but still need something like a D775 on cart.
Yes, absolutely. We have, again, we are held hostage to the throughput, but Zoom does a really good job with adjusting that bandwidth accordingly. But I have deployed several card solutions on Wi-Fi, and they have been successful. Again, I think that's where that try and buy comes in, so we can actually test the network and make sure that the quality meets your standards. Because again, the pipe is the pipe.
And I will say, you know, being the guy that goes out and does demos and trade shows and all those kind of things, I've made it through more than one trade show and office demos, running my both my D7 and my Mi Pro off my phone as a hotspot. So there are lots of different ways to get things done, and Wi-Fi is a certainly good solution for it.
Thanks. Another question came in. Are there plans to bring BYOD to the D10 Me? I
think, Dave, that one would be the Mi Pro. The Mi Pro, you can actually do that.
The Pro version has BYOD on it. Yep.
Right, the Smart Connect. The Mi was developed for that appliance, a single only Zoom. You know, not to degrade, but like it's the toaster and that's what it does. Where the Mi Pro gives you more of that collaborative BYOD experience, and also uses a secondary monitor.
Great. Another question, being in Zoom for government, we currently don't have ZDM. Not sure what features will be available when it does come Zoom for government. Are there any plans for the D10 Orbit portal for adding provisioning profiles?
So I can address most of that. First thing is, it really depends on the level of government agency that you are, whether you have access to ZDM or not. I know Zoom is actively working on upping that list so that many other agencies are very shortly going to get access to ZDM to be able to do what they need to do. And you can certainly, through the Orbit portal, you can today certainly provision any one of the D10 devices. You can not only put in firmware for D10 devices, you can actually put in and update the Zoom app appropriately. So that's how we've been handling that. For those that have an issue and can't use ZDM and can't use Orbit, reach out to me, because I've got some other solutions to make sure that you can still get your updates done, but we don't need to take that time on this call.
Great. And then another question came in about audio. How powerful is the audio? I believe this was during the D7X slide when we were talking about the D7X and how powerful is the audio.
Yeah, I think go ahead, Dave.
Go ahead, Greg.
No, I was going to say the D7X went from a 5-watt to a 20-watt speaker. And, you know, what I've been hearing from the field is that people that would have an 80% volume level, when they brought in the D7X, they are now putting it at 40 to 50%. So it's filling the room, and you can see a significant improvement in the output or the audio playback now with the enhanced speakers.
Great, thanks. Another question said, what about larger classrooms? And again, I think this was around the D7X. I think there's
sure. So right, D7X families can run as singles or duals. If you want a dual, you can just buy two and connect them up as duals appropriately. And then the D7X Pro allows you to do up to 3 screens. So that would be 3 75-inch screens. That's a pretty large room to be able to handle that. They all have HDMI out, so you could feed them to other displays if you needed to other places.
Thanks. Question about the 27-inch, the Mi Pro. Will the 27-inch have an Ethernet connection? If so, will it pass through the USB-C cable to someone's laptop if the laptop is connected to a landline?
Unfortunately, I don't believe it will do that, but that is an excellent idea, and I'll send that back to engineering and see if they can look at it.
Correct. There is an Ethernet cable, but it's directly for the Mi or Mi Pro. It does not pass that connection type to the user's laptop.
Right. So the Mi and the Mi Pro both support direct hardwired Ethernet if you have it.
Great. We have about 3 more questions. Next one, does D10 support Miracast or Apple phone mirror?
That is based upon the platform that it's being utilized, and seeing that it's Zoom. Zoom has the ability to do the wireless share through the
Right.
Apple and Miracast. I don't know about the Miracast, Dave, but I know the Apple does for sure
Right.
with the Apple
Yeah,
Play.
you can use the Zoom wireless content share
Right.
as well as they do support Apple phone mirroring.
Yeah, and if you have an Android device or something, you potentially could use the website share.zoom.us and then broadcast that way with the pairing code.
Thanks. One more question. What if I buy a D10 for Zoom, so the D7 for Zoom, but we switch to Teams later?
So I've got a couple of answers for that. I guess the first one is don't do that. But a better answer is if you look to the D7X product as the solution, D7X product, we're currently working with Microsoft to get the D7X units Teams certified. So at that point, you would be able to, you would run Zoom on a D7X until you decide you don't want to run Zoom anymore. You do a factory reset of the board. When it comes back up, it'll say, does it want to be you want it to be Teams or Zoom? You'll choose Teams, and then it will become a Teams room for then on. For those that have D10s for Zoom, we are working on some solutions to see if we can't add some BYOD functionality, so you could bring in a laptop and run a Teams call off of there using the cameras and microphones appropriately.
Yeah, I think Dave, on a decent
more to come on that.
That's part of our future proofing. Not only did we increase the RAM, the compute, because these softwares are getting very feature rich, we also did enable the ability to switch to different platforms like Teams and Zoom with a factory reset. So again, ensuring that you get the life cycle and the ROI on your devices as you deploy them.
Thanks. And then last question, do we offer any kind of expansion microphones for larger rooms?
We do not offer expansion microphones. However, through the USB connections that are available on the D7s and the D7Xs, as well as the D7X Pro, you can connect all kinds of other microphones and mixers. So QSC, for example, Biamp, the Shure, the ceiling mic, et cetera, et cetera. You can connect all those kind of devices. You can also go the other way, and with those same mixers, you can also add amplifiers. A lot of people will add like the Yamaha sound bars if they want more, larger sound in the room to cover things, or plug into ceiling speakers appropriately.
Yeah, I think Dave, what the little bit shorter answer from my perspective is yes, we can add our devices to complex audio and audio playback rooms. What I would strongly do is reach out to us and let us go through that design with you and make sure that, because there is some compatible devices we need to check that meet Zoom's certifications and potentially Microsoft Teams, but we can definitely assist you to make sure that everything will be compatible and the solution will be optimized for your user's experience.
I guess I should also say on the D7X, our BYOD or Smart Connect comes with a 6-foot cable, and we are currently in the process of testing pretty much every other manufacturer's extenders, repeaters, et cetera, and we'll have a list of units that work appropriately, so you know what you can choose to extend that USB-C out to a table or somewhere else, or switch it between different places on the table, et cetera.
The questions are finished, but we had a comment come in. What one participant has done is simply add an iPad controller to the D10 room, which enables Apple Share capability. So I think this is going back to the
yeah, and I think that's a good point. One of the things that we did is because there was a need for a more professional grade as compared to an iPad, because you do have battery swollen over length of time and remembering the password. We do have the Mate, which is both Wi-Fi and PoA for a Zoom room controller that does give that functionality from that comment. So if you haven't experienced that, or you want to see a unit of the Mate and see that functionality, but it does have that feature set on it that you can just hit share, and then you can see the settings for the Apple sharing.
Great. And then we'll follow up. I'm not able to get on the link for the urban stand for the question that came in about the stand, but again, that is urban. It's a third-party stand for the Me Pro, but we can follow up after the webinar with the information. So that does conclude the kind of the Q&A section. Thank you everyone for attending, for your interaction, for your questions and your comments. We appreciate your time today. Again, if you have any follow-up questions or if you want to participate in the try and buy, please feel free to reach out to the DTEN team. And we look forward to seeing you on our next webinar. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.